about less than 15 minutes ahead of time. I'm going to attempt to find the live stream. And then send who is not coming. Let's see who's going to be. Matthew Turner and that doesn't work anymore, does it? Okay. Um, there's a way to turn this off too then. Okay, we're going to get started. It's a little after 10, and we'll go ahead and get started with the, because I know that your time is precious as well as my time is precious. So let's start with prayer, and then we will just talk through some stuff. Hopefully you also have, for those of you that are watching the live stream, you have the PDF with you. You have that. You should be able to download that from your email, and you should be able to see the instruction manual, the basic training manual that I have created. But let's go ahead and pray, and then we will start. Heavenly Father, we give you glory today. We thank you, God, for your grace and mercy. God, help us now as we just use these tools to further your kingdom. In Jesus' name, amen. Okay, so the first thing, which is not on this screen, I've already logged in on this computer, but the first thing that you will see, first of all, let me welcome everybody that's watching. But the first thing that you've probably already been given, and if you can multitask your screens and watch the live stream and also do the open up the Populi site, if you've got access to it, you should have access to it. Go ahead and do that if you can, if you want to. I do have my site up here, and then of course there are pictures in the PDF document as well. But the first thing you should have received, and I think most have received this by now, is a valid, I needed a valid current email address so that I can register you. You've probably already been registered into the Populi system and into your class. Once you are registered, you should have already received an email asking you to create, I think they create a username. I can't exactly remember. Either you create a username or they create one for you. But I know you have to create a password for your account. So you will see, as the picture shows, a login screen for the username and password. Again, please remember to keep this email, your email address, current, so that if there's so that we can constantly keep in contact with you. If there's any changes, please let me know to your email address. Let me or the receptionist or the registrar know, and that way, especially just me, that way I can update your email and you won't lose connection with things. Okay. Also, make sure that your spam settings are fixed to accept emails from the Populi system, and also for your students as well, since this will in part be how you communicate with your students. It should also go without saying that once you have created a password, please make sure you keep up with it. However, if you lose it, if you forget it or whatever, because we're asked so many times to do passwords, that I can reset the password for you, let you create another password. That's not a problem. By the way, I do want to check with my sound person and make sure that we got sound coming through. And you out there, let me know that you can hear me. Hopefully, I'm not too loud. This microphone system that I'm using is actually really, really good, and relatively cheap for being so good. So let me know that you can hear me, that I'm not being too loud. I'll try to back off, a little bit if I need to. But anyway, what I find helps, and you won't see it here because I'm using one of the school's computers, but on my on my personal computer, what I find is helps me at least to keep up with the site, considering I log into it so often, as I find that it helps to put this in a bookmark bar. If you have that on the top of your web browser, you can put it where you either on the main bar or in some kind of folder to where you can access it easily and you're able to find it easily. If you need to find it, if you don't have it bookmarked, of course, the website is there. It's Holmes, BC, populiweb.com. So that's the website there. Listen, and when it comes to web browsers, I haven't really explored all web browsers. I personally don't like whether it was the old version of Internet Explorer or the new versions. I think it's called Microsoft Edge now. I really haven't tried Edge to access stuff. My personal favorite is Google Chrome. It just syncs all of my stuff together, whether I'm on my phone or whether I'm on my laptop or so. So that's what I use is Google Chrome. You may be on a Mac. I'm not a Mac user or an Apple user, but I think there might be others that have used it before and said it's okay. Don't know what the web browser is there. But regardless, try it, see if it's okay. I do know, unless things have changed, that this system doesn't really work the best with Firefox, Mozilla, Firefox, whatever it is. It doesn't really work the best with that. So, but again, try it. Maybe it's updated. I don't know. Google Chrome seems to work out the best for me. So let's talk, and of course, you'll see the contents of the of your of this booklet that I have here, and we'll talk about several things such as the username and password, the home page, and stuff like that. So let's just go ahead and just dive right into it. Of the home page, and actually the screen that you see before you, if you can see it on here, is the home page to the Populi site, to your Populi site. And you'll notice a couple of things in the booklet, in the PDF. I have those things color coded. So we'll just kind of go in the order that I have them in as far as color coded is concerned. What you have up here at the very top, as you can see highlighted in blue, are the top menus. Now, it's possible that you don't have access to all of these features because I would, because I'm the administrator, but you are only given faculty teacher access. So the main things that you would be worried about would be like my profile and of course my courses. The my profile menu is where you can, and we'll go ahead and just click on it right here. The my profile menu is where you can edit your profile, obviously, as it says. You can edit your profile. There's various ways you can adjust it. You can add a picture. You can go to the info tab and of course add your email address. All kinds of stuff that you can update with. If you click on faculty, it's going to tell you this is one of the places that you can see the current courses that you're teaching. That's just one of the ways. I'll show you another one in just a moment. In fact, I'll show you two more in just a moment. But that's one of the ways. Just explore that. You can't hurt the system. You can't damage the system. So you can, again, look at my profile there. My courses, another way you can see your course is by clicking on my course. You can see your current courses or your future courses. You can also click on the all courses to see your past courses as well. I don't use this link a whole lot with looking at my courses because in fact, I'll show you here when we go back to the home page. When we go back to the home page, you'll notice that on the right-hand side of your page, you see the current session and semester, and you also see the current courses that you would be teaching, or that you are teaching, I should say. Some of you already have access to your courses, so therefore you are able to get into them. Obviously, the session doesn't start until January the 4th, but you have access to it so that you can tweak and work and all that kind of stuff that you need to do with your courses. You can, again, view that from the home page. You'll notice that this is a drop-down menu showing you all of the sessions, maybe not for you, but for all the sessions. And let's go ahead and just talk about the particular sessions. Each school semester is divided into two semesters, obviously, two school year is divided into two semesters, and each semester contains two online sessions per semester. Each online session is 8 weeks long. Note that I usually, if you're looking at the diagram on your in your file, I usually extend the endings of those semesters a little beyond the 8 weeks, just so that in case a student needs to finish work, and we'll talk about all of that in just a moment, but just in case a student needs to finish work or you need to finish grading that work, I give a little leeway there. It's a little bit longer than 8 weeks. I try not to push it any longer, especially when it comes to the end of the semester, the second session, where it's the end of the fall semester and we're about to go on Christmas break, or it's the end of the school year in May and we're about to do graduation. I try not to push it too far beyond there. But I do try to extend it to give both you as a teacher and also the students a little grace. Some of them do have excuses as to why they turn in late work. Let me know, by the way, if I'm going too fast or if we're doing okay with everything. So just type in the chat box there if I'm going too fast, and let me know how everything is going, okay? All right, the next thing that you'll notice on your home page are alerts, and over on the right side, events. Alerts are the way that the Populi system keeps you updated on what's going on in your class. Alerts will tell you if a student has turned in assignments. In fact, you'll notice on my particular alerts, and I have some things that are added on my alerts because, again, being the administrator, I've got things like I've got applications where students are applying online classes and things like that are letting me know that. But also, I had a student who also needed to finish some late work, so it's letting me know that there are assignments, there are tests that need to be graded. So that will alert you as to tests that need to be graded. Someone's made a post or someone's uploaded an assignment. Whether it be a paper assignment or whatever, or if you have tests, questions that need to be graded as well. Events is kind of more for your students, but it does let you know also what's upcoming in your class. The events might read due by Wednesday. A test is due by Wednesday, or this reading assignment that you've set up is also due by whatever time you have allowed it to be. Events, again, are more of a reminder for the student, but they are there for you to kind of refresh yourself as well. Before we leave the home page, one of the things, and I think I've tried to enlarge this, and when I do that, it cuts off some of the screen. But one of the things that will be most helpful for you is the help button. And when you click the help button, it causes a drop down menu. And one of the great features of Populi is the knowledge base system. Aside from this training, the knowledge base really is the best way to receive help in setting up courses, or if you have other questions. Once you have clicked on that, again, there will be a drop-down menu, and you simply just click on Search the Knowledge Base. In fact, let's go ahead and do that. I think you should have a picture. You should have a picture of what the first page of the knowledge base looks like. It'll give you several links to Welcome to Populi, your Populi account login, and everything that you need to know there. Some of the stuff that I'm basically covering in this particular course. You'll see other links as well. You can either type it in the search bar what you're looking for, or you can click on links to explore. I suggest that you use this quite often, especially if you're setting up your classes. Use this quite often. Hopefully this basic training will help, but I know that the knowledge base will help too. I think they even have YouTube videos it's been a while since I've looked at it, but I think they actually have YouTube videos as well that will show you various ways of doing things. I know they have articles, but they may also have videos as well. Okay, I'm going to go now and return back to the home page. You will notice that the next subject that we have is to set up your class. Now, the way you access your class, remember, your courses are located on the bottom right of your screen. And so you'll notice that there is a blue link to your course. So you are able to click on that blue link, and your classroom homepage, the homepage for your classroom, looks like this. This is how your classroom will look. And I'm just going to use the Christian theology, the one that I'm actually working on for this semester, as a template and example here. So there's a couple of things I want to draw your attention to. The first one is this big dialog box called the dashboard. The classroom, this is the way you will communicate with your class. The dashboard, in this dashboard, you have, and I should say dashboard, you have various kinds of alerts that'll, again, alert you to things that are happening in your class. Schedule, again, is the same thing as events. It will let you know what are the things that will, that are coming up in your class. Then the discussion, if you have posted any kind of discussion for your class to post about, then you'll see it underneath this line. I'm sorry, the whole thing is the dashboard. The bulletin board is the dialog box. I'm trying to get ahead of myself. The bulletin board is the dialog box. This is the way you will communicate with your class. It's here that you'll type in information to your class. And there's two main things that you need to know about this bulletin board. One is a very nice feature. Once you post on the bulletin board, in other words, if you type something here and you click post, then it will automatically, the students not only see it here, but it is also sent to their email address as well. And I think there's a duplicate copy also sent to your email address, or you can set it up that way. I removed that feature so that I'm not getting the same copy of the stuff that I've sent. But it does send what you send out to your students through email address, and vice versa. When they type on the bulletin board, it also sends an email to your email address. So you're able to see it here, and you're also able to receive it in a bulletin board. In an email. Now, here's an important little information. The bulletin board, whatever you type in this bulletin board and whatever you post, is seen by all of your class. So make sure you're not making private conversations or remarks about an individual student or to an individual student. This is for the entire class. Please don't make remarks in the bulletin board like you're failing the class or your paper stunk, on the bulletin board, because the entire class will see that, okay? Unless you're just commenting on all of their papers. I don't know. But you may want to just kind of be careful of what you post in the bulletin board, because again, and usually this is the way, when a student has a question, sometimes they'll ask a question, sometimes they'll send me a question privately. If I think that it will help and benefit the entire class, instead of responding to that one student, maybe other students have it as well, then I will post it in the bulletin board, and that way it's sent to all the students. Okay. Any questions, comments? Am I doing okay? Okay. Yes. It is good advice. Not that I haven't had to learn that particular lesson the hard way, but it is good advice. Yes. Okay, number 2 is the syllabus. Now, and where I'm getting the next few points from, again, this is in your class. You'll notice on the left-hand side, you have dashboard, syllabus, lessons, file, assignments, and so forth. And we'll get to most of those things, at least the necessary things. All right, so the next link that we're going to click on is the syllabus. Now, you'll notice I haven't really done much with this page just yet, but once you click on the syllabus, it basically is self-explanatory. It functions as the syllabus for your class. In other words, you could type out your own full version syllabus and then upload it. I'll talk about that in just a moment. But you could also just use this as your syllabus. You'll notice that there's some basic information about the course, what term it's in, the dates that the particular class runs, how many credit hours it is. Don't get too hung up on that. Some of that needs to be corrected. Hopefully yours is your classes are okay, but still it should be about 3 credit hours per class. Okay. All right. So when we keep scrolling, okay, before we scroll, my apologies, you'll notice on the right side, you'll see things like add supplies. That's probably not so. I mean, I don't know. I have yet to use this one because I don't know what supplies you would need other than a computer and yada yada yada. Things like that for looking online. So that's pretty well common knowledge. All right. You know, I don't use that one a whole lot. Don't know what you would use it for, but you can suggest to students certain kind of supplies that they might need for your online course. The other 3 are probably pretty pertinent. The add link, where you can add actual links to other videos, links to websites, links to articles that either you've uploaded on another website, all kinds of links or whatever. It is basically self-explanatory that you can send them to. Add books. This could be if you're going to use at a required textbook. This is where you would add that information is in the add book section. It will give you the option, and I'll go ahead and show you on here just by clicking on it. It'll say you can go to search for it, or you can enter it manually, enter the book manually. Or it'll search for the ISBN number or the whatever the digital number is. And then it'll also give you the option whether or not that particular book is required or is it just a suggested optional book. So just keep that in mind. Also, our receptionist has a book list. You should go ahead and turn in a book. The book that you're going to use is at least the required book that you're going to use for the class. Our receptionist should have that information and already have sent it to the online students as well, or if they call in, they should know what that is. So definitely add it here just in case they forget, because we know that students do forget sometimes. So you can add books, and then you can add files. And files, adding a file, like if you do actually happen to write out an entire syllabus for this course. And I recommend that you do that just so you have something on Word document in your files of what this particular class looks like. That way you kind of, I don't know, it just helps me to have it in my head as far as a big picture of what this class looks like. So what you want to do is a simple drag and drop. You take it from, or you can import it by the blue link here, but you take it, your PDF syllabus. I find PDF holds formatting together better. So you drag and drop your PDF or your Word document onto the file. This is not just for your syllabus, though. You can also, if you have articles that you want your students to read, then you can add those files here. There's another place I'll suggest that you add them, especially if they're for a specific lesson. You may want to add them in that particular lesson, and I'll talk about that when I get to the lessons section. Okay, let's see. In the syllabus, oh yeah, the one other thing that I wanted to add about the syllabus page. Down to the very bottom, there is, and it might be redundant, but there's another place that you can upload your syllabus, the one that you actually type out. And you may want to do this, or you may want to just use this. You'll notice here that you can add content or upload a file. So if you already have a syllabus, you can upload that syllabus, and that's where the student will be able to see it. In fact, when you upload it, it will actually appear where they can actually see that. If you want to create content, of course, it opens up a dialog box, and you can actually type. So let's say you have an already printed out, already typed up syllabus, but yet you need to make some adjustments. Hey, this is not due the fifth week, it's due the sixth week. Well, you can make those adjustments here. You can either let them know in the dashboard, or you can make that adjustment here. Let's say you have made a syllabus, which I wouldn't be too specific about the way you create your syllabus. In the fact that as far as specific dates, because those dates are constantly changing, right? If you teach the course in fall session of 2024, then of course those dates are going to change. What I like to use like week one, this is due week two, this is due week three, those kind of things. And so with assignment changes that might change, one thing that you might do one semester might be different, slightly different the next semester. Well, you don't want to change the entire syllabus. Instead of doing that, you can just add, hey, this is an update to the syllabus, look here. So it's a nice way to kind of update your syllabus without having to rewrite the entire thing, okay? Of course, in order for your students to see it, and I'll say this again when it comes to test, don't just save it, save and publish. Unless, I don't know why Populi added this feature, but they added it in kind of in a mid time when I was working during a session or a semester. And I kept getting emails, hey, I can't see this test. I can't see this information or whatever. And then I noticed that Populi had added this feature of publish. So when you save, make sure that you save and publish. Otherwise, your students won't be able to see the updates. You can edit or change any of this on your syllabus when needed. You can change or add information during the class session. You may want to, when you do, you may want to let your students know that you have changed that. If there are no questions, no comments, or anything like that, then we'll move on to the next tab of lessons. And I'm just pausing for a moment. Everybody's good? Lessons, the lessons tab takes you to where all the lessons, where you can create all the lessons for your course. You will notice that there are multiple ways you can design and arrange a lesson. If you'll notice on the actual PDF file that I sent, you'll see where this is a New Testament survey course that I taught, and you'll see again how I arranged them per the 8-week session. Week 1, you'll have this information. Week 2, you'll have this other information, okay? Notice if you're looking on the board, I have not created any lessons for Christian Theology 1 just yet. What we want to do is we want to, especially if you're working from a blank slate, an empty page, then you want to click on in your right side, on the right side, you want to click on add a lesson. And what add a lesson is going to do is at least you need to title the lesson. It gives you the ability to title the lesson. And then you decide when that lesson will be made available. You can type out the date and time, or you can select on the course open to student date. Basically, it sets it to open when the entire class opens, okay? And then, of course, you'll want to do that for each subsequent lesson. If you will look back at that previous page on the PDF, and I don't know if you can see it, it's in small print, but you'll notice the first lesson was on October the 5th. The next one is on October the 10th. The next one's on the 19th. And again, you measure it out by the 8-week lesson. Regardless, the very first lesson can only be open when the whole session is open. Also, students are not allowed to access the course until the entire session is open, until I, the online director, open the entire session for the students as well. And just a side note here, they cannot enter a class until they have paid. But you don't have to worry about that, because if you see their name on the roster, then they more than likely have paid, or some kind of agreement has been worked out. Once you have edited the info on this mini screen and you then save it, and let's go ahead, well, I have to, but let's, and I'll show you this a little bit on here. Then you can go to the actual lesson. You can actually show up on the actual lesson. It will appear in a blue link. Let me actually find just for a moment. Let's see, since this one's still open. And here we go. Yeah. Now, once you have saved the lesson, it'll appear as blue links as you saw on the other page to in the middle of the page here. And so you can click on that particular link and you can design it all. There's multiple options to be able to design and create that lesson. The View tab is to view the content which you have created for the lesson. Since you're working from a blank slate, then you need to click on the Design tab. And what I'll do is I'll click on the Design tab just to kind of show you what that kind of looks like. You'll notice that there is content, there are assignments that they need to do, quizzes and all that kind of stuff. I've even added a content page for their study guide that they can have as well. Let me follow the book here. The tab provides options on how you want to design your lessons. In content, like if I was going to add and create new content, let's just do that for a moment. Again, you'll see another dialog box just like this. And you have some options. You can type a heading. You can do the content. This will be your major source for adding content. The Content tab is a blank page in which, again, you have many options. You can type out your lessons on this page. You can also post various videos or articles on this page, and they'll appear on the view screen. If you already have lessons typed out, then you can simply just cut and paste from your document application. I'll show you another way to upload the files in just a moment. Let me show you, and you can look at this in the PDF file, show you what I have done. In fact, it's right here in this class. If I click on Edit. Oh, it wants me to finish what I've started. It's always a good thing to finish what you've started. That's free. Okay, so this is what it looks like, and this is what you're seeing in your PDF file. What I have done, and one of my commitments that I try to do when I first started this whole process of being the director and teaching online classes, is not just for them to read information. I mean, yes, give them reading assignments, absolutely. But I also wanted to provide videos. Part of this is from my experience as a student at Erskine. They had us sign on to what was called the Moodle site. And you watch the videos of teachers. They actually had a classroom called the Erskine Virtual Campus, in which you would type in, they would record their videos. None of it was live, but they would record their teachers. They would actually have a class in there, and they would record their teachers teaching. Well, we don't have a specific classroom for that, especially if you are not here on campus. There's a couple ways you can do that. You can simply just, live stream to a YouTube account. You can record and then upload. I'll talk about all that stuff in just a moment. Or you can record if you have PowerPoint. PowerPoint lets you record while running your PowerPoint. Then you can upload that also as well. All right, so here's the thing. I create a video lesson or video lessons on my personal YouTube channel. In the design content page, I simply typed out the titles for each of the videos, then placed the link for the video. The great thing about this is that it doesn't look like this. In fact, you probably noticed it just a moment ago in the final production. When the student views it, in fact, let's go to view now on the screen. When the student views this, it views it as an actual video. And I don't think it might be on. Or maybe not. Okay, so you actually see the video. You can expand it to where you can actually see the video larger. Here I am talking through for the New Testament survey class that I taught. I'm talking through how to navigate through Populi. So sometimes we do help the students out in doing that. All right, so you can minimize that, but it shows the videos. Okay, it actually shows the videos, which I think is just kind of cool. Okay, all right, so the video appears in the view screen, and the student can watch the video from here instead of going to your YouTube page. Couple of things to address. Yes, Populi has storage space on its website for you to upload videos there as well. When I first started doing this, we recorded Brother James Leggett, in, I think he was doing Romans and Galatians and also Corinthians at the time. And I video recorded him and uploaded those things to the Populi site. However, they charge a fee for storage, okay? Even for colleges who are actually using their stuff, they charge a fee. So in order to save the school money, excuse me, I upload my videos to YouTube, in which YouTube so far, other than maybe the ads, is free to upload to YouTube, the YouTube page. Then all you have to do is do what I did here in sharing the link. The YouTube page doesn't even have to be your own personal page. You can create a YouTube page for the sole purpose of creating these videos. Since this is a Populi training, I'm sure that there are YouTube videos on how to set up a YouTube page and upload videos. And probably since this whole post-COVID phenomenon that we are in, where all of us went on live stream, many of you probably know how to do that anyway. But if you don't, there are probably videos on YouTube on how to create a YouTube page, upload videos, and share the links. If not, at some point in time, I'll try to create one for this purpose, for sharing links onto this. But you should have that basic concept. Okay, in your classroom, if you go down to discussions, then you will note that this is where, if you want to add a discussion post for your students to respond, then you would click this link. This opens a window for options on naming and designing the discussion topics. When you edit other information in your lessons, make sure that you save what you've added by clicking the save, and if necessary, the save and publish button. Otherwise, they won't be able to see it. In the lower right corner. Continuing on now to files. This is where, and actually what I meant to do was this, not this. Here we are. Let's go back to the design and go all the way down. It's here in this bottom part here, and I apologize for that. In this bottom part here, there's discussion, then there's file, then there are links. Same kind of concepts as on the home page. Again, if you want a file that your student needs to read for that particular lesson, it is here you will want to upload that file. If there's a specific link to a website or to a video that you want them to see, it is here that you would want to add that link, not on the main page of your classroom. I hope that makes sense. I apologize. I was rushing and jumping in the gun on that. But again, going back to discussion opens up a dialogue. So again, where you can title, where you can give it a topic, how you want them to answer, all that kind of stuff in the class. Same thing with files. Again, if you want it to be specific for this particular class, then you need to add it here. And when you do that, let me go ahead and just show you how that's done. And again, it's the same thing. Drag and drop. So you want them to read an article. Or you have a lesson to upload. You've already got it typed down on your computer. You just want to upload the lesson. You don't want to have to retype it on the Populi system. Well, you drag and drop it here. Then it'll ask you a series of questions like, do you want to hide this file from your students? Not quite sure why that question is there, but it's there. Hide the download link. Show the embedded or preview media, which is usually defaulted to yes, because you do want them, just like with the YouTube videos that I showed, you want them to see that. Require this, download this file. You want to click, if you want them to view that information, before leaving that lesson and then proceeding on to next week's, then you would click yes there. If it doesn't matter to you, then you just leave it as no. With that, again, simply just drag and drop. Links function the same way. Note that once we talk about assignments and tests, you will also see an option to add those at the bottom of your page as well. The reason why you don't see them here at the bottom of this page is because I have all my tests and assignments already designated to where they need to go. All right, back to the dashboard for your class. So far, we have talked about the dashboard, the syllabus. Something is popping up here that doesn't need to be. The dashboard, the syllabus, and the lessons tab. I'm going to skip the files tab because you already have two places where you could upload a file. You'll probably, again, use the file link within your design lesson to upload files. Mostly, again, you're wanting the student to read a specific file for that lesson. So you would go into your lesson and then you would have the file uploaded that way. How to create an assignment, which is probably one of the larger things that we're going to talk about. So when you click on the assignments, again, this is on the left side. When you click on the assignments tab, you'll notice up here, here's the class, here's the add assignment group. You can group your assignments together. Like say you have 4 tests, all of them are grouped in that way. You have 4 reading assignments, all of them are grouped in that way. Or you can add individual assignments. And Populi actually will calculate percent. They'll help you when you add the percentages in, they'll help calculate not only here, but also when we talk about the final grade book. All right. So it is here that you can add a new assignment and you can import the assignment from another course. You can also group assignments and add percentage values to those groups and assignments. To add a new assignment, click the drop-down menu and you'll see another mini window. So what I'm talking about here is add assignment. There's a drop-down and then you click add assignment here and then you'll see this mini window appear. You must at least title your assignment. Filling out the description box is optional. The type drop-down menu gives you several options of what type of assignment. And what I'm talking about here is about middle ways. You'll see type. You'll see grade only. You'll see file, peer review, if you want other students to review that. Test, that's probably one we're going to use mostly. Not attendance, discussion, essay, peer review essay. Some of those you may want to utilize. I'll let you explore that, okay? When you click on the test options, so let's go to test, then you see another mini window appears so that you can create the test. I'll show you how to fully design a test in just a moment. You can calculate, you'll notice here, you can calculate fixed points, or you can have each question weighed equally. Those are the two main ones that we use. You can also tabulate how many points you want the entire test to be, which if you wanted to be 100 points, then you would type in 100. But then you have to designate questions, of course, make sure that you have, enough questions that will calculate up to 100 points, okay? Note, and this is a lesson, again, hard learned. If you want your students to see your test, you must click yes and publish it. Again, if you don't click publish, then they cannot see the test. You can assign when the test is due and when it will be made available. You can give a time limit, although I started utilizing this when I first started teaching online, but I really don't do that anymore. Maybe I should. But you can set a time limit for how long the student has to take the test. There's a time limit on campus. They have, if your class is 50 minutes long on campus, then that's how much time they have. So you can assign a time limit if you want to. I usually don't. I try to be a little bit more gracious at times. There is an option to proctor the test. I have never used this. For one, I don't really. You have to explore how to do the proctoring as well. But I figure this way: we're a Bible college. If students are cheating on tests, and sadly sometimes they do, then we have a bigger problem than just what kind of grade to give them. They have a bigger problem than what kind of grade to give them. If they're cheating on tests, they probably don't need to be in a Bible college, or they need to get sanctified or even saved or something like that. Anyway, that's my mini sermon within this whole thing. All right. Since we are addressing, and I'm going to direct you to the PDF now, since we are addressing the availability of tests and assignments, let me explain how an online week works, because you think to yourself, hey, it's a week, Monday through Saturday. Not exactly. Holmes Bible College always begins a semester on a Wednesday. Why? I do not know. I have not the faintest idea. Thus, we have to start the online classes at the same time. I've tried doing it other ways, and it just the calculations just don't add up. Okay, with trying to start it on that Monday, and then you have students who just miss it. Okay, so it starts on Wednesday, and then the week ends on Tuesday. So this is how I plan my lesson. Any assignment or test that I want the student to take, and you'll notice a little calendar up there from Wednesday to Tuesday. Okay, that's the online week. So any assignment that I want my student to do or test to take, then they have to complete it within that week. You can do that. We're still in the test mini window here. You can do that here where you have always available. And by the way, when it says visible to students before available, that means they can see the test before it's made available for them to take. I do not do that, okay? I give them a study guide sometimes, in which maybe that's what Populi is thinking, that maybe it functions as a study guide. But I don't make the entire test available until it's time for them to take it. I don't do it on campus. I'm sure they're not going to do it here and online, okay? But you have some options. You have always available. You have available from, this is the one that I usually use. And so I want to function it within that week. All right. So this is November 2022. Let's go ahead and skip to, oh, we can't do that one here. Let's just say I want to start here. I wanted to start here on this Wednesday, the 2nd, and then I want it to end on Tuesday the 8th. All right. So you can click that in. You'll notice in the PDF file that I have it actually on January 4th to January the 10th. Okay. It's within that week. So you can make your tests and assignments available from that Wednesday, and the student will have no more access to that assignment or test unless after Tuesday, unless you graciously give it to them. And yes, please be ready for excuses, because that's why I'm having to grade stuff now in the middle of break, is because I've had some teachers to have, or not some teachers, some students to have excuses. I've been in the hospital, I've been here, and I understand some of that, okay, and showing grace. But what we are trying to look out for are just slackers, okay? Just lazy people who are not doing work, and they will literally wait to the last minute. And let me address that now. I think this is under point number U. Completing tests and assignments within a specified week is the way that you, as the teacher, takes attendance online. Do not let your students go the entire session without turning in an assignment, making a post, or taking a test or a quiz or something. In other words, they need to be doing some kind of activity that you can check off during that week. Some will try to wait to the last minute. Now, you can decide how harsh or how gracious you want to be. If you want to penalize them, if you want to be gracious, if you want to knock a few points off, which I suggest, then do that, okay? But they need to be doing something, because here's the thing. Just like with, on campus classes, for a Monday, Wednesday, Friday class, if you miss beyond, I think it's 6 classes, then we are required to drop a letter grade. And so therefore the student can go from an A to a B or B to a C or failing relatively quick. And usually if they're missing that much work or class, they're going to fail anyway. Probably they probably haven't done very good on their other stuff. Again, unless there's extreme circumstances. All right, so you have that option to show them grace or mercy or whatever you want to do there. But please make sure they're doing something, because technically, if there's no activity beyond the second week, then technically they would be failing the course, or at least dropped a letter grade. But if they're already, you know, borderline failing anyway, then they would be failing the course. All right. Again, unless there's grace. And you can work that out with your students however you want to. Again, I never make my test visible. The same kind of principle can be applied to other types of assignments. If you need further help, contact me or the knowledge base. There's 2 more tabs that we need to address. And as a good Pentecostal preacher, I would like to now issue my first closing. Okay, I'm about to close. All right. So, but we still have a little ways to go. All right. So how do we design a test? Let's see. And I do not want to do this. How do we design a test? And I'll just go ahead and go to one of my quizzes, test, that kind of thing. Okay. Once you have created your test, it is time to design it. The tests or assignments that you create will show up in the Assignments tab. You see that in your diagram. You can access and edit your test from 2 places. The blue link above will take you to the page. There are no grades for this test because we haven't created the test yet. Notice the words in red, at least on the PDF, no questions. So we need to add questions. How do we add questions? Click on the blue link on the test, and you can also access and edit your test from the left tab on the dashboard. So notice here on the left side, you'll see dashboard, class, syllabus, lessons. You drop down to tests. And you can also edit your test from there, okay? You can access your test from there. After you have designed the test, you can preview how it will work. Let's go ahead and just look, which this is in the design mode. Notice you can add up here in big bold letters if you need to, closed book, closed note. And then you start creating your test, if you will. You start creating questions. Let's see. By the way, the little 3 dots, if you click on that, it's going to bring a drop-down menu. Like if you already have questions, but you want to add another question in between questions, then it'll give you a menu of add questions, add heading, add text. What you, if you're working from a blank slate, will probably see all the way down at the bottom. Well, same thing. If you're working from a blank slate, you should be add question, add heading, or add text. So you want to add a question, all right? And so you'll see that when you click on add a question, then of course you see that there is a question. It will open up a box to add a question. And you have multiple ways of creating this question. I have created, the default way is multiple choice. Now, if you hate multiple choice, you can go ahead and skip on to short answer or to essay. But multiple choice does have its advantages within the Populi system. You'll notice, if you will, that there is a question there on your PDF. Who is the most handsome online director? Right? Okay. And then you're able, once you ask that question, then you're able to, in the answer dialog box there, you can type in your, if it's multiple choice, you can type in your choices and then give 100% credit to the answer that you feel like or you know is the correct answer. And again, you're the one creating the test here. You can choose to randomize the multiple choice, various things. You need to add points because, again, I've allotted for the test 100 points, okay? And so you need to, bring from that 100 points. Well, 10 of those points go to this one question. 10 might be high for a multiple choice question, but 10 points for this particular question, okay? Now, the default, and I mentioned this already, the default type is the multiple choice. Once saved, then the question looks like this in design mode. And you can see that. This is how it will look in design mode. Here, if you'll follow the next page, is how it looks to your students and in the preview page. You'll notice that the question is there and there are bubbles for beside the correct answer or the answers, I should say. And all your student has to do is click on the bubble and then it will save that answer, okay? And they do have the option to change, the answer if they need to or whatever while they're taking the test. If they're unsure, they want to go back or whatever. But once they finish and finalize that test, and they can't change it anymore, okay? You have the option to design the test with short answer. And please, by all means, play around with that. Here's the suggestion box here. I say suggestion box, the type box. Because what you'll see multiple choice, short answer, put in order, where you arrange things in order, multiple answers, essay, true false matching. I have used definitely multiple choice. I've used short answer, which gives you just a small little dialog box for them to type a short answer in. I've definitely used essay if I want them to write something longer. True false, I don't use true false a whole lot. Matching, I have used matching. It functions the same way, okay? All right, you can create a new question or import questions from another test. All right, so once again, point values, once the point values and the correct answers are set, Populi for multiple choice can auto grade all types of questions with the exception of short answer or essay. Once you plug those answers in, then Populi can automatically grade those for you. So that is a nice feature of multiple choice and true false and also like matching and stuff like that as well. You don't have to grade those. However, and you may want to mix your test up. Obviously, you would probably want to mix your test up. You want to give some multiple choice. That way, Populi goes ahead and they grade those, and then you give one or two essays or short answers or whatever. Or if you want to grade the entire test, then hey, grade the entire test. Make it short answer and or essay questions. Here's an example on your PDF file of how the test looks to the students. You'll notice that the first one is a matching, and then the other two questions, and this is not a full test. Obviously, this is the screenshot of part of a full test. Short answer, that's how it looks, all right, with that. All right, grade book, the last thing we need to look at, and please let me know if I've done okay or if I am going too fast. I don't really use some of the other links. Attendance, obviously, you're going to take attendance by creating assignments and things like that. The grade book is the last thing. Ooh, yeah, and I need to not show that. Not the names, at least. Okay. All right. So on your grade book, let's go back to test. On your grade book, on the PDF, I should say, once you have created tests and assignments, assigned point values to them, made sure that they are published and visible to your students, then you can see all the assignments and your students' grades from the grade book. And again, the sensitive information that I was almost showing on the screen were people who've actually taken this class, all right? I had them blocked out here in your PDF, okay? Hopefully you will not have any problems where a student just doesn't do work. Sometimes that happens for those of you that are watching I teach Old Testament survey. There's another guy that's teaching New Testament survey. Sometimes that happens in the survey courses because we do offer free survey courses. So sometimes a person will get in, they've got access to it for free. They decide whether or not they want to take the test or whether they just want to watch the videos. Sometimes and that may be what happened with this last person who did not get anything. They received a 0, an F for their grade. Maybe they just got in and wanted to watch the videos and not take any of the tests. Or sometimes they get in and decide, hey, I've gotten in, this free, it's not costing me anything. I really don't have time to deal with this. They really didn't count the cost, right? And so they don't do the class, okay? But typically, this is how your grades will look, okay? The names have been blocked to protect the innocent of the guilty. Notice the blue links up at the top right. They are assignments at a test that each teacher has created. Each assignment has point values that you assign to them. You also see how each student was graded on each assignment. Populi, thank God, tabulates all points earned using your point values that you provide with a final grade. This is seen in the left column. Let me address three features real quickly. The edit grades. In case you want to, instead of go into individual tests and editing, you can change the grades from here. Just click on edit grades. Export XLS, I'm sorry. In order to get them to our school's register and grade recorder, I export the grades to a Microsoft spreadsheet. While the register only needs the letter grade, unless things have changed, and I don't know that they have, I like to at least provide a final numerical grade as well. The office really doesn't need the entire grades for each individual assignment, so you don't have to provide that. Once you are done, your students are done, you are done, you're grading, then you need to click on the finalize course. When all assignments have been turned in and graded, you can close out the course, but you must finalize it. A finalized course can no longer be accessed by the students or adjusted by the teachers. This is why there is a small pick of a lock by the student's name, and also you'll see it for your class once you finalize it. You only finalize the course when it's complete. The teacher simply clicks finalize the course, clicks a checkbox on the next page confirming finalization, and then clicks submit. Now, with that said, the course can be unfinalized for a student or for the entire course, but this should not be done often. We only do this, again, in case there's late work to be turned in or grades to be done that need to be corrected. Now I am closing. Thank you for all the work that you are going to do or you have done for the kingdom and for Holmes Bible College. I hope that this basic training has helped. I hope I haven't talked. I feel like I've talked 90 miles an hour. I hope I haven't done that. Please remember, if you have any questions, I'll leave the stream on for just a couple of more minutes. You can post a question there. You also see my cell phone number. Please do not give that out to any students. And that's another thing too. I do not communicate with online students through the phone. I make it a strict policy, and I mean strict because I've had an online student, a reoccurring online student here recently, to want to call on my phone about every little problem that is clearly stated in the syllabus. Okay. I don't have time for that. Okay. And you don't have time for that. You know, you have a question? Yes.
He says if we remove videos or change items already in the course from previous instructors, are they permanently deleted from Holmes?
Yes. Yes, they are permanently deleted. And that's okay. If you and most of the videos that you see, like if you is this Paul that's asking the question? Yeah. What did I give him? Romans and Galatians and oh yeah. With yours in particular, Paul, with Romans and Galatians, yes, those are uploaded to the system, but that's okay too because I have them on a USB flash drive in my personal. Those are Brother Leggett's, and for nostalgic, for posterity, those kind of things. I had those videos saved onto, so it is okay to delete those videos. With anything else, with any other class, like my Christian ethics class, I think I gave that one to you. You can delete the links. That's okay. The links are still on YouTube. It doesn't hurt the YouTube. You can delete the links there. So yes, please feel free to delete any of those videos and create your own videos for your class. Again, do not give my phone out. My email address is on all my syllabi and it's here, so that's fine. Also, remember the knowledge base of Populi. Are there any other questions? I hope that I've done okay.
He said no one wants to delete Brother Leggett permanently.
Yes, no, I agree. I agree. Yes, and I do have those videos on a hard drive, a flash drive, in my personal care. So yes. I do recommend before you delete them, though. Some of them are very hilarious because there's one, I can't remember which one it was. He's actually teaching and he looks out the window and he notices a deer and he stops in the middle of class and he says, "Oh, look, there's a deer." So that's still, we don't edit usually those things sometimes. And so, yeah, that video is somewhere in one of them. I can't remember if it's Romans, Galatians, or Corinthians, but it's somewhere. That would be fun. And you too, since you have, and I meant to say this too, if you want to, before you delete those videos, you now, since you have access to the class, you can download those videos for your own purpose, for your own just holding on to them, and then delete them. Okay. And that would actually help me out greatly because I know I have them in a USB drive somewhere. They're in my person, but I just need to find them. But it would actually help me if you actually download them as well, um, and then you can delete them. Any other questions or comments? I didn't do too bad. I think I went 10 minutes over. Is that right?
It was great to see him teaching that good idea of redundancy.
Yes, I agree. Okay. Well, then, I thank you. I'll try to we had several people that were supposed to be here live in class with us. One of those, Paul, being your friend. You know who he is, that teaches here. I won't call his name, but he was supposed to, he told me he was going to be here this morning. You would have known if he was here. So I'll let you figure that out. But for some reason, they just didn't make it this morning. So if you're watching the videos, thank you for your service to Holmes Bible College. I do appreciate it. And we're going to turn the stream off